Today, we're diving into a military secret that's about 2,500 years old. And this isn't just about force, it's about sheer survival. It's a strategy that has literally built and broken empires. But to really get it, you have to understand the kind of desperation that created it in the first place.
So let's start, not in ancient China, but way more recently, 1979. Picture a soldier on the battlefield. His water's gone. He's hearing rumors the enemy has poisoned the wells, and the only thing he has to eat is this dry, hard ration that feels like actual sawdust in his throat.
This is it. This is the fundamental life-or-death problem of military logistics. It's a challenge that has haunted commanders forever, and it can bring even the mightiest armies to their knees. And that one soldier's harrowing experience, it really brings this whole problem into sharp focus.
The author of our source material, he remembers this himself. For 3 straight days, all he had were those compressed biscuits. His throat was raw from just trying to swallow what felt like sawdust. Eventually his unit had no choice but to survive on whatever they could find. Sugarcane, cassava, anything just to keep going. And it's that kind of visceral, unforgettable memory of near starvation that gave him this deep, personal appreciation for a piece of timeless wisdom from one of the greatest military minds in history, Sun Tzu.
So what was Sun Tzu's big idea? What was his solution? Well, it wasn't as simple as just packing more food. No, it was this brilliant 2-part strategy that balanced painstaking preparation with, let's say, some ruthless battlefield opportunism. The idea at its core is actually brilliantly simple. You just can't carry everything you're gonna need for a long war. It's impossible. At some point, you have to adapt. And really, this whole philosophy can be summed up in just 4 characters. 以战养战. It literally means to sustain the war with the resources of war. Think about that. You use the enemy's own stuff, their assets, their land, their supplies, to fuel your own campaign. It's the ultimate strategy of efficiency, basically turning your opponent's strength right back on.
And this is where you see the real genius of the strategy. It's not one or the other, it's both. It's a 1-2 punch. Phase 1, take from home, is all about meticulous, almost overwhelming preparation. You get everything you need one time. But then comes Phase 2, forage from the enemy. This is all about tactical adaptation. As you push forward, you live off the land, which does 2 things at once. It feeds your army, and it starves your opponent.
Now, to see this principle in action, really in action, we've got to look at one of the most incredible logistical feats in all of military history. General Zhuo Zongtang's campaign in the 19th century to recover the huge territory of Xinjiang for the Qing dynasty.
Zhu knew exactly what he was up against. Trying to conquer a massive, dry region thousands of miles from his supply base, it was a logistical nightmare. His success was going to depend entirely on whether he could master Sun Tzu's 2-part formula.
So first up, the take-from-home phase. Zhu put together this massive, well-equipped force of over 70,000 soldiers. And this wasn't just an army. This was a powerful statement. It was the overwhelming force he needed to build his campaign on. Then, the food. Get this, he gathered 20 million kilograms of grain. Just try to picture that. This staggering amount was the initial fuel meant to get his giant army across thousands of miles of pretty hostile land.
So how do you even move all of that? Well, with a colossal supply train of over 5,000 carts and 20,000 camels, just winding their way across the landscape. This just shows you the mind-boggling scale of his preparation. Zhu was leaving absolutely nothing to chance. But all that preparation, that was only half the battle. Zhu then masterfully switched to the forage from the enemy phase. And this wasn't about luck. This was about precision. He timed his attacks to happen at the exact moment of the local harvest, seizing enemy grain stores to keep his army moving forward. This is what allowed him to push deeper and deeper into enemy territory without his own supply line collapsing.
Okay, but this all brings up a really important question, one that critics have been asking for centuries. Is foraging from the enemy just a nice, strategic-sounding way to say looting and pillaging? It's a fair question, right? Is this whole thing just a license to go wild and plunder? Well, according to Sun Tzu's broader philosophy, the answer is a pretty firm no. The difference is all about a crucial, balancing concept that really governs all of his strategies.
So this isn't about uncontrolled greed. Not at all. It's about a calculated acquisition. And it's governed by this core principle he called Du Li, which you can basically think of as the right limit. Foraging is a tool,
for a specific purpose. It's not a free-for-all.
You see this idea of degree or limit pop up everywhere in his work. He says a general needs to be brave, but not so brave that he becomes reckless. He has to care for his soldiers, but not spoil them. And it's the same logic here. An army forages for what it needs to sustain the fight. It's military food, not for unlimited plunder. The goal is always victory, not getting rich.
All right, so how does a 2,500-year-old idea like this hold up today? You know, in our world of drones and global supply chains. Is it just some relic of the past? Well, the core concept is more relevant than ever. Just think about modern coalition warfare. During the US-led wars in Iraq, for example, allied nations all chipped in, financially and with supplies. That is a modern version of sustaining the war with the resources of war. You're sourcing support from the entire conflict environment, not just your own bank account.
So this leaves us with a final, really powerful question. How can we use this outside of a battlefield? Think about it. If you're launching a startup, all that exhaustive market research, building the product, getting that initial funding, that's all taking from home. But then, pivoting based on what your first users say, or forming an unexpected partnership, or using open source tools instead of building everything yourself, that's foraging from the enemy. The lesson is truly timeless. Prepare meticulously. Build a solid foundation. But the second you're out in the world, be ready to adapt, be opportunistic, and find what you need from the world around you. That is how you don't just survive, it's how you win.